Varia and Beatrix, right? But this is in addition to the Franco that Yaoi is going to be piloting. But, hello? Did somebody call Blacklist onto the stage?
Dude, Blacklist Echo! I mean, Echo has been with the Blacklist quite a lot. So maybe not, Echo's like, they know how to handle this.
But look, okay, we are talking about how epic this is. Estes coming in, very Ube. They are going to group around S5, but they're going against a composition that's so good at pickoff, which is exactly what Echo can just play to.
It really does. And I mean, Echo, they are experts in their own field, but at least we see why the Farmers was warranted for a ban. They want to stick close together. The Ghost Bursters does exactly that, multiplying the damage according to how many people is going to get caught in that blast. So at the very least, we have some leads, and I think especially for Echo, this might get a little difficult here, but it's about the mechanics. It's about being able to force out the Estes either early or punishing him for walking up.
We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. Burnex Flash with the Ube strategy. But people claim Echo is the kryptonite to that. We'll see exactly how this pans out as we dive into the Land of Dawn for game number 3 between Burnex Flash as well as Echo. And there you go. Very aggressive.
Yeah, very aggressive and actually a very bold decision as well from the side of Burnex Flash to Ube against Echo. Especially since Echo is one of the first few teams to actually dismantle the Ube strat.
A lot of these pickoffs is going to be, again, Yaoi just looking for opportunities to pull out D7 because, again, nobody else can really take that damage. Unless ATM's an absolute god and tries to, like, go for the dash into the hook to try and cancel it out. That would be pretty impressive if he can do that consistently. But even then, there is a large margin of human error.
Definitely. I completely agree here. But, oh man, I don't know. I mean, everyone from Echo is on their comfort pick, right? Yaoi's win rate, hook rate rather, on the Franco has just been insane. Earlier on, is there anything that we need to look out for, perhaps, in terms of equipment?
In terms of equipment, let's have a quick look around. Nope, nothing too out of the ordinary just yet. It's just the fact that Yaoi's Iron Hooks get closer and closer every time he throws them out. It's going to get dangerous. In terms of emblems, let's have a quick sneak peek here. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Barras is going to hopefully guess, pull yourself together coming out from D7. And I think it's fair, right? At the end of the day, it's all about trying to influence the lanes now. Now, first rotation coming up to the top side for the side of Burnex Flash to try and punish Samford.
I don't think that this is going to result too much for the side of Burnex Flash. They do want to show a little bit of aggression at the top lane. In the meantime, they also understand that the turtle is important. Neutral objective is important. And when it comes down to this kind of setup, they would want the Estes to be at level 4 as well. But D7 is not quite there yet. Just a sliver to level 4.
There you go.
And there we go. With the level 4, he's unstoppable. The entire team of Burnex Flash is probably going to be unstoppable. But in the meantime, that is going to be Yaoi that did manage to get a hook on down. But Shamar, he still went down and he still died despite the blessing of the Moonlight Goddess. And Echo even gotten the turtle.
Yeah, so Echo gets a kill. Echo gets a hook.
That is a goodbye to... No? Never mind. Good flicker and good run.
Yeah, unfortunately there. Oh my god, top.
He doesn't have enough mana.
I don't think that that's going to result too much. ATM versus Sanford, these two matchups, I can't imagine any one of them dying based on the matchup and even based on the skill level.
All right, let's go back, right? Because Echo was able to get the turtle. They were able to get a kill onto Chama there, so that was a huge win for Echo as well. Unfortunately, there in the mid side, even though Yaoi was able to get the pick, unfortunately, Sanji just didn't have the right tools to be able to execute that. But that is something of what we can expect from the gameplay of Echo here in the early game, especially now that, you know, Yaoi has already reached that level for Moment as well. So expect things to be a little bit more crazier, realizing that Benny is also on the Beatrix.
I thought that with the Estes at level 4, that would have been the best fight the Burnex Flash could have had for the turtle. Considering the fact that Echo, there's no way that they will be able to try to bring down the level of healing from D7. This is probably the most amount of healing that D7 can provide to the Barats, yet Barat still died.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, D7, he's not going to be able to move as quickly out of this lane. The priority comes into play, and Benny QT is able to force that, unlike their dual Donut in D7 on the bot side of the map. ATM and Sanford have been having a lot of these fist fights up on the top, but at the end of the day, that Daytona's welcome coming in from bronze got cancelled out, and that's when Echo starts turning the tides.
And you can see that being, reflected onto the economy lead that they have actually built for themselves, right? Already 1,000 here in the first 4 minutes of the game. It seems like when it comes down to map pressure, it's quite equal, but you can see that both of these teams, with how aggressive that both of these teams want to be playing, they are centering their focus on the next objective.
The turtle currently pulled towards the side of Echo. ATM pushes forward and it will want to take down the turtle, but unfortunately Kaltizi is the one that takes the turtle. Final slash that will put D7 in not a very good spot. The rest of the members from the side of Echo will want to burst down ATM, but that's a nice snipe. The Echo Spear connects down onto ATM, who each tried to run away. Kaltizi left with not a lot of help to work with. Yawi immediately gets a hook down onto CCAN and flickers himself towards the turret.
Yeah, 1-for-1 trade, but Echo still pick up the turtle. You're right? I mean, D7 gonna be able to use that ultimate. He's been utilizing it a lot better so far. A lot of sustain coming in from his team. But I feel like, I've been on the Estes quite some time now, and it feels like in the early game, the healing's not just there. It feels like he's a little bit reliant on those items.
Yep, he is going to be relying on his items, and not to mention that he probably wants to stack up as quickly as he can to activate the blessing, sorry, not the blessing of the Moon Goddess, but his roam blessing in this particular case, right? To actually multiply the amount that you actually get with the flat amount of healing that you get on top of it. So it really just boils down to how you position in these fights. And I think, Yawi is doing a really good job at coming in from many different angles. He's not standing in one place and just camping it all the time. He's making sure that he changes it up. The conditioning starts from minute number 1. And since we're 5 minutes in, at least for Yawi, he is making sure that he's not wasting any time being at one place at one time. He wants to influence the map as much as he possibly can.
And on top of that, right, nobody from the side of Burnex Flash brought the Purify, so let's go. Oh, see, there you go.
That big hook onto CCAT, bring him down almost immediately, and Carry is stuck in the bottom lane. This is more or less a great spot for Echo to start moving and pushing the turrets.
Pick off pressure, pick off pressure, pick off pressure is what Echo just really want to play around, right? They don't really have to go for any crazy engages just yet. Maybe they want to wait for Sanji to get online for the moment, because when we saw that in-game equipment, he's only built in that Clock of Destiny. I think it takes a little bit more, but again,
a hook and made D7 go for a flicker as soon as he can. That is very much worth it, as Yawi didn't even have to use the flicker on that. Shama, Detonus welcome, connected down onto Kaltizi, but that pretty much means that it's pretty much a 4 versus 3 fight. Great hook coming in, but the blessing of the Moon Goddess will keep everyone sustainable, alive. Echo, they're not interested in the fight, they got a turtle.
I mean, look at that. D7, when he's running in and pops down his blessing in the Moon Goddess. Oh!
Big hook, once again, suppressing down on Shama. He's dead. No way that D7 can heal him up.
Ah, that's so annoying. It's so annoying, but Yawi keeps finding these really, really good hooks. His conditioning is especially key, not only towards just D7, but also making sure that if anybody decides to overstep their boundaries, they can just punish them almost instantaneously if the follow-up is nearby. Yawi is extremely intelligent with his hooks, right? He is making sure that he's not only targeting, hey, I noticed that you keep on positioning or sidestepping towards the right side, but you start switching it up after this minute. And they're going to memorize that over the length of this game. Now let's come back to D7, right? Every single time he is out of position, he must flicker into place to make sure that he gets the maximum effect with the Blessing of the Moon Goddess, but that's when Echo can look to bounce back. Sanford, I'm keeping a very close eye on him. That final slash could be extremely key to actually opening up the team fights, or more importantly so, punishing Burnex Flash once they have used the Blessing of the Moon Goddess to kind of pull them back into the fight.
Yeah, displacement as well, right? I think they're going to group up as 5, and that's exactly what Arlott wants. Going to be able to get a good initiation engage. So, like you mentioned before, timing is going to be very important, but Donuts?
Immediately with the Retribution to lock down the Donut as much as he can, even with the Appraisal Craft, brings down Carry just so easily. Now, that is a little bit of an overextension coming in from Donut. He didn't really quite understand where everyone else is. But in the meantime, big final slash coming from Sanford, focusing over to the backlines on the side of Burnex Flash. D7 will want to fight back into Benny Cutie, but now he's gonna go down. We've got ATM that still wants to hold on the front lines. Rhythm of Joy keeps him alive. D7 is still alive as well.
told you, final slash, pull him back into the fight, and then you can start following up all over again. Ideally, Kaltizi probably should have been on that right side to kind of follow up and lock them down for even longer, but somebody has to face Chima, and, well, it's got to be him. He's the only one who's tough enough to actually maintain his lead. I mean, he's level 12 compared to level 10, and let's not forget, ATM, at least he was able to kind of recover 1 kill onto Ben QT at the end of the day, but it doesn't change the fact that Burnix Flash have to play this very passive role and approach towards Echo.
And it feels like that seems difficult for their playstyle, their personality, right? Burnix Flash, like their name, they really like to go for these engages. They are at kind of a disadvantage, which, like you mentioned, is Chima being under-leveled here. But what is that damage? Do they really want to contest for this Lord?
For sure, D7's just going to top him up like you're going through a toll, and now you're wicked back all the way towards that Lord. This is going to be a full 5v5 fight, so don't blink just yet, unless Burnix Flash decide not to, but it doesn't feel like they should back away.
I don't think that Echo is necessarily going to commit fully into this Lord just yet. Oh, never mind, as we do have the suppress. It's not a knockup coming from the side of Lord. Shama takes the Lord away from the hands of Echo. The Deton's welcome, unfortunately, was dispelled by the fact that Kaltizi runs away. Donut gets a kill. Benny Cutie gets a kill. There's a lot of treasons coming all around the place. Echo is 3% down. ATM eventually managed to push himself forward, advances, and now Burnix Flash, they've got the Lord, they've got the first to defense turret, heck, maybe even more.
3-4-1 trade, and it could amount to more here. And this is the power that ATM has when he gets this joy.
It's, they're about to lose an inhibitor turret here, unless, I mean, Sanji, he's got to be able to clear these waves fast. They're going to spawn up. They will be able to hold up at their inhibitors, and that's great enough. But let's cut back into this replay and look at it one more time. When did it go wrong? Because again, you're 2 levels down. Realistically, that shouldn't be the case. We see that Chima starts walking up, and immediately Kaltizi is able to dash out of range, but the Blessing of the Moon Goddess allows the entire team to kind of power through the damage that Benny QT is providing for the rest of his team. And I will say that the Nibiru's Passion slightly late on the draw, probably wanted it to pop in a little bit earlier to help the neutral objective, but at the end of the day, it's still Chima who walks away with that Lord.
That is definitely a tough fight for Echo, and I don't think that they would want to reenact that again. This doesn't feel like what Echo would have done in a fight if they were to face against Blacklist International. But I gotta have to say, Burnix Flash, they know the Ube, they understand how they want to play the Ube. And carry is only 3 items in, with the Corrosive Scythe as well as the Golden Staff and the Wind of Nature. It kind of seems as though he's still pack a long punch.
Yeah, Donut's still doing a lot of damage, right? Even so, and as this game progresses, Donut is going to have even more damage, especially to the front lines that Echo has committed onto. Kaltizi is going to be in danger. Sanford, when he tries to go in for these engages, it's going to be all or nothing with the commitment that they've actually come to.
And that's assuming that, you know, they're going for that all in. For all intents and purposes, Sanji is just going to be farming up the damage stats pretty much the entirety of the game with the Astral Spheres, but he's getting that top up from the side of Burnix Flash, the continuous top up, in a matter of fact, from D7. Oh, can already hear the crowd trying to give some encouragement towards Burnix Flash, because right now the game isn't really in their hands, right? For all intents and purposes, Burnix Flash don't want to be the one to engage first.
I don't know about this, right? Do you think that Echo has the better teamfight comp? Because looking at it in a general scale, looking at it in the big picture, it feels like that's exactly what Burnix Flash wants.
Yep, that's exactly what Burnix Flash wants. I mean, Echo, yes, they can teamfight, right? But the main players in these teamfights is going to be Kaltizi, Sanford, Benny QT, and sometimes even Sanji. But that's assuming that his abilities are up. He can only do it one at a time, and sometimes the AoE, you just have to be conveniently standing one on top of each other, no matter how good your aim actually is when you're utilizing these skill shots, right? So I think what it is going to come down to is just dancing around this Lord, and a lot of dancing. Wait, Yaoi.
Does seem like it comes in from the side, immediately locked down the ATM, but look at the amount and disgusting amount of heal. He's gonna be staying all right. The Rhythm of Joy from the side of ATM will be able to open up the map enough in order to scout out where Yaoi and Sanji is. The entire team of Echo is just gonna be falling back, and I don't think that they will be capable of taking down this fight. Kaltizi goes to the stun of Shamar. They're all gonna be pounding down onto him. Caldizi goes down. Benny Cutie flickers away. But that is all just completely wasted.
What is going on? What is going on with Echo in this game? Is it Burn X Flash just burning up in terms of their performance? Or is Echo underperforming here?
I think they understand that they can't get through this healing, right? There's just too much. Unfortunately, they haven't come to a point where they can look to completely one-shot. And now with Lord crashing down on this inhibitor turret, this could be the end.
And Host connects down on the Shamar, suppressing him down. Big final slash coming from the side of Zampa, but where's the follow-up? Where's the damage coming from? ATM is dead, but the rest of the members for the side of Banastro will definitely want to follow up onto the core. He's slowly tickling down, but unfortunately, they are going too much of the core. They let the entire team of Echo pummel them down.
Did you hear the crowd just cheer on Burn X Flash? And maybe even Echo in that engage? This could definitely be the turning point though for Echo because perhaps they kind of misplayed that?
Would I call it a misplay?
Deja vu, rather.
I would say it's more like deja vu, right? Because I'm looking at D7, he didn't have his flicker at that point of time. Even his ult also, I would question whether it's actually usable at that point because Sanford came up pretty huge with that final slash, right? Able to displace the right amount of targets to fall up with Sanji to make sure that his damage is effective. Let's look at the instant play run one more time. Let's see if I missed something out here, right? We see ATM already with the ult. Sanford tries his absolute best and yes, the camera doesn't catch him out perfectly, but we do notice that in the meantime, Benny QT is able to walk up right after he spawns, instantly capitalize on the time bought by the rest of his teammates, and they finish off both Dona as well as D7 in quick succession.
And on top of that, right, now we're going in the 15th minute of the game, right? Things are getting a little bit more even, I would say, right? Echo is reaching the points where they are going to come online. We see that items are being built. They're getting to that point. Sanji already has a Divine Glaive. It feels like that's going to change the dynamics of the team fights. But what I still feel is a little bit iffy or sus is that Echo still wants to commit on these 5v5 team fights. I understand that Echo does have it in their kit to go for that, right? They have the AoE with Sanford, Carl Teasy even Benny as well as Sanji, but against the sustainability that D7 gives them, is it still wise to go 5v5? Why don't they just go for pickoff?
I mean, a lot of it depends on Yawi, right? He's the only person who can realistically do that. Sanford, with that final slash, unless he is able to thread the needle with just the tip of that sword to maybe pick somebody off, sure, I suppose that's a possibility. But just know that Shuma is there right at the front. He is looking to eat these hooks. He's very happy to eat the iron hooks, and the same can be said for ATM, right? He doesn't necessarily have to play as 5. He can technically be on the side and wait for the opportunity to go back in. But we've seen what happens, right? Oh, try to pick me off. D7's gonna flicker for him to save his life.
It's so tough.
It's not easy. It really is a battle of mechanics between the two. The constant push and pull will be the main points of contention, right? Wait, hold on. Look at the setup that we see from Echo.
Benny Cutie? He's all alone at the bottom lane. That sounds very scary, but I think that Yawi actually locked down onto him with the bite. And that is ATM dead. Echo can actually come back and try to find a fight against, Burn X Flash is now in a tough spot.
This is what I was talking about, right? This is what I meant. Pick off. This is what they need to go for.
Iron Hook on the D7, he flickers out. He's gonna be A-okay at least, but the Lord even had to go for a reset.
Ooh, last projectile didn't get hit there, and I think this is great. Now Echo can start fishing once again against Burn X Flash. It's still a 50-50. Ideally they kill Chima, but it just takes way too much time. If they can get CK, oh, Yawi was close there.
Chima is slowly trying to walk himself right in, but the suppression ensures that he would not be able to get the retribution. But before that even happens, Benny Cutie brings him down almost immediately. Terrifies down onto Yawi. The rest of the members for the side of Burn X Flash wants to punish Echo. They want to ensure that that Lord would not amount to anything by killing them down. But that was a big final slash coming from the side of Sanford. He continues to push on these advantage. Sanford tries to run himself away. He almost got it. it! ATM wasn't able to come himself right back! CCAT runs away with a quick little dash. D7 left all alone based on the fact that he's got no mobility. It's gonna be left with ATM and CCAT. ATM has to fight the world all alone. He managed to kite away from the astrosphere, but let's be honest here. ATM, Shamar, CCAT defending against the rest of the world.
I don't know. The adjustment is huge though, right? By the side of Echo. 12 seconds left. They do have time.
That's well, Echo connecting down ATM. He tries to bring down the Sanford, but Shamar, he did manage to successfully do so. Echo came in with only one mission, and that is to bring down the inhibitor turret.
With 5 members available from Burn X Flash, it's a lot more difficult, as you can see here, for Echo to get things on the board. Split them up one by one. They are no contest, no feat against the entirety of Echo.
Yep, and I mean, the only way they're going to do that, I personally wish that they were able to get a side inhibitor, not just the middle inhibitor, right? Because mid lane is very easily cleared, and it's honestly always cleared when you're starting these Lord dances. I will say though, Sanford, holy cow, that very, very last fight just before the inhibitor fell, he sustained for way too long there. I'm surprised he lived that long, and he's able to pull that off. Now, looking back at the items so far, it's all about building defense and making sure that you live. These immortalities are going to be worth a lot.
All right. Echo still, though, leading with a 4,000 gold lead, but honestly, at this point, 19 minutes in, it's been 19 minutes. Can you imagine? Already a 20-minute game here. Things could go either way. Somehow, Burn X Flash, they need to force a team fight. But the way that Echo have been positioning, like you caught up earlier during that team fight, I feel like that was very intelligent. And you can see that they're trying to replicate the same thing again. 44 seconds are left on the clock. You can see that even Carl TZ still at the top side. How are Burn X Flash supposed to bait them in that situation?
Well, ATM, he's going to have to go out of his way to into the side lanes, right? But with the lack of information and considering the last time that ATM ended up dying on the bottom side of the map because of the Bloody Hunt and as well as Benny QT hiding in a bush, I think that even Burn X Flash recognized that maybe we just wait, right? Maybe we just hope that Echo is looking for something bigger. Because these neutral objectives, it's hard to walk up, especially when you have no information whatsoever what's on the top side of the map, and nobody is showing themselves.
Yeah, now the macro game begins, right? The chess play is how I love to see this go. And you know, Echo, they have made a name for themselves. Their macro is usually on point, so it's very exciting to see how they're going to react to it and how Burn X Flash are going to try and challenge that kind of chess play.
Okay, so they're making sure that they're hugging towards that right side. They know that the mid lane is pushed out for now, but they're still keeping very tightly knit. Notice Yaoi's position here because he is going to be the big opener, and if he finds Donut early, this could be a quick ult from D7.
It's all about dragging the Lord away, and Kaltizi is doing an impeccable job of doing so. But Next Flash have to really get himself out of their comfort zone, out of the brushes, in order to really get a peek as to what's the health of this Lord. In the meantime, Sanji as well, Yaoi can find the right opportunity to jump right in with the skill snipes. Shamar loses the immortality. He's gonna go straight down, but the suppress actually saves him for just a little bit while Sanford goes in for the start. Shamar still's gonna be A-okay. Sanford back into the main lines with not a lot of help to work with. CK comes in from behind. He wants to get a kill down to Sanji. There's still immortality going on. He's going to be all the way behind the enemy's lines. How is this gonna be like? CK stays alive. He's gonna be getting down the immortality on the side of Sanji. Sanford still stays alive as well. He himself alone manages to push the entire team of Echo away. That is absolutely crazy if you ask me. This will allow Echo to re-record himself and get themselves back in this game. Immortality pop from the side of Kaltizi. The rest of the Moon God is just going to be popping between every single one of members on the side of BXF. Top side. Is this how it's going to end? This is how it's going to end. Echo, Sanji, and the rest of the group. And it all! What? Wait a second! Wait! The police does!
That's unlucky. That's so unlucky. Sanji dies, the auto attack is enough, and the minions spawn at the perfect time to push out the rest. How unlucky.
Listen to the crowd roar in this second.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
No! Is this really how it's gonna end? Yaoi, Benny Cutie
Oh my
What a day to end so badly!
Sanford is the only person left standing. Look at the timers, ladies and gentlemen. Carl Teasy is going to be up. Sanji is going to be up in 10 seconds. 3 of them. Will it be enough?
He's got to pull the Lord. He's got to pull the Lord.
The desperate manipulation of the Lord is what's going to be working for them. As when as Flash immediately with that as well, because they move on to connect on the Kaltizi. HP not looking well. Both of them, Kaltizi, Sanford, taken down. Vertex Flash. They take this game. They are conducting a medley of death on the terror on the Orcus. This is not the result that many were suspecting.
Absorb the crowd right now, ladies and gentlemen. I have never heard a roar this passionate in a very long time, if ever. A huge upset for the Orcas. They were seconds, hits away from taking the game, but Burn X Flash were able to